Everyone, this is Willie again, and one of the questions that I get asked quite often is, well, one is how do they access the site after they join? So I wanted Joe to explain that to people. People keep asking me, where's my username and password?
Well, the username and password they put in when they first sign up. It's part of the registration. And then you just go to this page, which is the home page, and you go over here to login, and it'll take you over to the oops, I forgot I'm logged in as root.
Uh,
So it took me straight into the system. But in their case, it would take them to a login page,
okay,
and it's just a password and the username they chose, the password they chose, and there's a little math captcha. Asks you to add 4 plus 4, and you type in the number 8, and that's it. That's all it takes
okay.
to
So
log in.
they do need to make note of their username and password. I know they get a welcome email, but that doesn't include the username and password.
Yeah, well, it also tells them on the registration form in big red letters. It says, make sure you write down your username and your password because you do not use email to log into the
Okay,
system because that
okay,
exposes people's email addresses. If somebody was trying to do a watch or a to steal stuff, when you put in your email address like that, they can get it before you log in. So we don't do
okay.
that. We use the usernames. The usernames doesn't do a hacker any good. He wants the email address. So we
Right.
don't let people use the email address to log in. They use their username, which they chose when they registered, and the password they chose when they registered. So hopefully they write that down. What I do for all my sites is I take the password and username that I'm using, I put it into a draft email. I just leave it in my drafts. So if I ever have to look it up, I just go into my drafts and look up the email and password for, Dead Easy Software or Google.com, whatever it is. So
Okay.
I've got 15 or 20 uh, draft emails in there, and they're basically just telling me what the password and all to go into a site is. Because
Okay. That
in order for someone to steal that, they would have to break into my email, uh,
yeah.
which I have a 25 character uh, password for that. So they have a hard time breaking into that. So yeah,
Okay.
it's not hard. And most of the other pages, public pages, also have a login link in there somewhere. There's also a menu that normally appears up here, but since I'm the root user, I've got just a little band thing up here. But
Okay. Okay.
that's all. It's not rocket science or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's pretty
I
easy
know
to get
you're
in.
a rocket scientist, but
Yeah.
yeah. But why don't we go ahead and explain to them though, people like me, well, after I discovered your site, but before I really became a member, I had already had a membership at ChatGPT, and I'd upgraded to the paid version because I use a lot of its features. I still do, but so I pay $20 a month. But people are asking, so how can they join this site, get access to multiple models for $5 a month when normally it costs $20 a month just for one membership at one model?
Oh, you mean how do we do it for $5?
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty. It's pretty simple. There's several things we started this with one model, the OpenAI model. We were a beta tester back in 2021.
Okay.
That's when we first built the site, and we started. We had beta testers that came on board as we added more models and stuff like that. But basically, the reason, let me go down. If you go on the main page of the site, and you scroll down just a little bit down here, where you see we talk about the two software companies because there's two of us that put two software companies put this all together. There's a little button
Right.
down here that says, "How did we do it?" And so if we click on here, it basically explains some of the ways that we did. There's over, well, it says 1,100 now, but I think it's more like 1,800 AI models out there now. A lot of specialized models that nobody would have, very few people have use for. But
Right.
what we did was when we started out, every time we added a new model, we negotiate for bulk buying of the AI tokens. And it's just like Walmart. If they when they bulk buy stuff so they can get stuff out cheaper.
Right.
So you can buy stuff at Walmart for cheaper than you could at, Kohl's or someplace like that. and that's because they do the bulk buying. And you can do that with tokens too. In some cases, it takes a while for us to get a model online, but every time a new model comes out, that's one of the things that we do. And that's just the first thing that we do. The second thing we do is we created a proprietary AI gateway system to all the best AI models out there, and we got several hundred um, actually in the system. You don't
Right,
use
and
them
that
all
change from
at
time
the
to time.
same
Yeah.
time or anything, but they're all in there. So the gateway system, one of the things it does is it improves the speed at which things are done with the AI, and it reduces the bandwidth that we're using to the system that I have set up, which also saves us money, which helps in the thing. And
Right.
and the third thing we do is the gateway system does something we spent 3 years developing, actually. It's an auto optimizing system that's inside of our apps for all the prompts. It optimizes for efficiency going out in terms of your input and in terms of the output coming back to you before they get to the AI.
Okay.
So it reduces excess. There's always excess stuff in code. You have too many blank spaces, and all this stuff gets thrown out there. And if you take them out, you optimize your bundle so that it becomes much more compressed. And
Okay.
we also have AI that optimizes AI, that helps. It takes care of things that cause problems like missing periods and a whole bunch of other stuff, and that also saves money um, in the system. How much it saves kind of depends on the model you're using, and all that, but it saves money on all the different models.
Yeah,
Um,
and I understand you optimize the prompts too, right? I mean,
right?
some of
Yeah, we
us,
optimize the prompts, we optimize the input, we optimize the output. We make it more efficient, we make it smaller, and we make it faster. All these things save us money. So we're
okay,
saving money. Whereas the free systems and all out there, they don't do anything. It just gets loaded in there. And the other thing is that we use is pretty much a secret, but we call it the balance algorithm. And it's basically a math model that is actually structured on top of a math model that I developed when I was working at NASA to optimize our servers and the usage of the servers and the load on the servers so that the networks wouldn't go down, like in the middle of a
right,
launch or something like that. So I took that math model and I improved on it over the last 3 years. And we have all this data from all our AI sites. We have more than one AI site. We have specialty sites, stuff like that. Um, and so we have this load data. We know how many tokens are going out for any individual IP. We don't go it by people. We do it by IP. We track how many tokens are going out, how many tokens are coming back. So we know on our system how many heavy hitters we have, how many light hitters we have, how many people are average users, and all that information goes into a math model. And the math model tells us, um, where we're at and how much we have to have in reserve as far as money and tokens paid and all that sort of thing. And it also will tell us when it's time to raise the price.
okay,
Because what it'll do is it'll say, okay, the load is getting to be significant for 90%. At this point, you need to raise the price another dollar or whatever. It gives a suggested to get us to equalize out um, on the system. So the people who buy now stay $5 forever, but eventually the load that the algorithm is going to tell us that we're going to need to increase the price. And when we do,
right,
$6, $7, whatever it is, all the people who join after that will be paying more, and they're actually helping to pay for the people who are at $5 who may have gone into the heavy duty level, so to speak.
right.
So it's all math. It's all a big math system, basically.
Okay,
So that's how we tell people. Bye now. It seems we're dealing with it now, and it's great and all that kind of good stuff, and we're good. Yeah, but at some point, the bounce algorithm is going to tell us that, and we also have some arbitrary figures. Like if we get to 1,000, we're going to automatically, um, to another 1,000. If we go from 1,000 to 2,000, we may bump another 50 cents or something like that, um, just for business purposes. But
Yeah.
basically it's the bounce algorithm that is tracking all this, and it tells us, hey, okay, it's time. You need to raise it to 650 or 550 or $7, whatever it is.
Now,
Um,
when people log into the individual platforms, they're not logging in directly to the platform. They're logging in through an app. Is that correct?
yeah,
Through
as
one of
far
your apps.
okay, when they log in, they are logging into our platform, which is the deadeasysoftware.com site. It's a
Okay.
WordPress site, and the platform has the gateway and all that stuff in it. So they don't connect to the AI until they use an app. When they use an app, it opens in a separate tab, or window, depending on how you're using your system.
Right.
Okay, and the AI app, it talks to our gateway. Our gateway talks to whatever AI model they choose. And you can choose, any app you can, on, with a rare exception. There's a couple that we don't do that, but most of the apps, there's a slide panel where you can go into settings and you can choose which model you want to use. It's from a huge list.
Okay.
It's got, and on the list it has everything: OpenAI and ChatGPT and Claude and all these different AI models. And you choose the one you want to use at that particular moment with the app. So if you're using an app to create the ebook, you could create it with Perplexity. You could create it with Claude. You could create it with ChatGPT 5. You just go into the app, tell it, I want to use this model. And you hit the setting and you say, use this, and it'll pull up things like say, okay, we're connected. And then you do whatever you want to do. You want to
Okay.
create a book, boom, it'll create a book. And that's the way it works. And it's a simplified, we simplified the interface to what we call a universal interface. So once you've learned how to use one app, you basically know how to use all the apps, because they have
Okay.
the same setup, the same interface, the same slide out panel, the same list of models. Everything's in the same place.
Uh,
The only thing that's different is what the model might be doing for you. It might be
right.
creating an ebook, creating content, or letting you interface with ChatGPT and do some chatting, or use
Or
one of our
writing
chat
code.
bots, or writing code. Yeah,
Yeah.
we got out for everything. Um,
Yeah. One of the things that I'd asked you about earlier was the fact that ChatGPT in particular has memory that it remembers from one episode to another. That's one of the reasons I kept ChatGPT despite having access to all these other models, because I can ask it questions when I log in directly, then it will remember something that I was working on 3 months ago. Most of the other models don't have that, right?
yeah, yeah. We don't do the memory thing because that would really increase the price.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
it would make the price where it was, we'd be closer to the $20 mark if we were doing the, so it will remember what you're doing while you're doing it. In
Okay.
other words, if you get into a session and you start and you ask a question and all, it'll remember all of that. But
Okay.
once you close the app and go to thing, then it does not perpetrate all that. It flushes the cache, if you will, because
Okay.
everything's going into the cache anyway. So that's the one thing you want to do different. So our site is only $5, and you have 200 models that you can access. So if you want to have a chat GPT and pay $20 because you have some stuff that you want to use the memory for, that's great. It's fine. You pay your $20 and you get the memory and all that other good stuff.
Right.
And for $5 more, you get another 199 or 299 models that you can mess with. So we're not really trying to replace certain things. The memory is the one thing that's I really ought to put that in the little form here. Not doing keeping memory for a year or a month or a week or anything like that saves us
Right.
a lot of money. Okay, the big guys, Microsoft and those guys, they can afford to do that. We can't. So
Okay.
it's the one, and I tell people up front, it's the one thing we can't do. So we have a lot of people that have two accounts, one at Dead Easy Software and one at ChatGPT, which seems to be the one that people are the most. We have occasional ones that will use Claude or one or the other.
Right. Right.
Most of them are using the open AI system um, and our system. So they're
Yeah,
paying,
that's what I do.
yeah, it costs you $25 a month, but you get 200 and some odd models you can access. Because
Right.
there's some things that, ChatGPT is good at a lot of things, but it's not good at everything. Um,
And
so you want to be able to
the other,
access these other models, but you don't want to have to pay $20 for every bloody model out there. Like
right.
that
The
could
other
add
thing
you, if you had six models, it cost you $120 a month.
the other thing people ask me is, so how do I pay for the tokens? You cover the
You
tokens, right?
don't. Yeah.
Right.
We It's very simple. We pay for the AI you use, period. There are no tokens to be bought. You don't have to buy any credits. You don't have to give us an API identity. None of that nonsense, because you're not dealing with the cost of the AI. We are. We take care of that. We have these contracts. We are the ones who bought the tokens for cheap. So we have to be the ones to use them. So what you guys are doing is using the app, and it's basically we're paying for the AI, because from that point on, it's our system, it's our money that's talking to OpenAI or Claude or one of the others, and that's on purpose. So you guys never have to pay. $5 is it. There's nothing else. You can go. Most of these sites out here, they like to do things like um, free access for life, and they charge you $20 or something like that. And yeah, they give you free access for life. They do not give you free use for life.
Right.
AI is not free. Somebody is paying for it. Now, OpenAI, Microsoft and all, they give you these freebies, and they limit them how much you can input and how much you can output on purpose, because they want you to buy the $20 a month. But
Right.
they do give you a certain amount of free, but it's not really free. They're paying for it, and we're doing the same thing. We're paying for it,
Right.
and
Okay. That covered the most difficult question that I'm asked because I love recommending the site. It is almost hard to believe that they're getting us $5. I think you should be charging a lot more. But
oh yeah, and gradually we will. You know me. I'm not. I always go. I charge people as little as I have to. I'm not looking to become a millionaire. I'm out here to help the little people. That's what Lewis and I. That's how we became great friends. 4 years ago, we discovered we both had the same approach to things, and that we wanted to help. We don't want to help corporations. I'm not looking to help the rich get richer. You know what I'm saying? We
right,
want to
right,
help. We're out there to help everyday people, and everyday people can't pay $20, $50, $120. It's ridiculous. It's hard for them to make money if they got to pay out, so much for that kind of stuff. That when I can provide it for them and still make a living, I can provide it for them for $5 or $6, whatever it goes up
yeah,
to. So we that's always been our is to go for the most inexpensive. Whatever the model tells us we have to cover our overhead, to pay for the teams and all that other good stuff, and that's it. We don't. We're not out there to get rich, which
okay.
sounds
And
crazy.
I
I know,
I'm
but
not out there to get rich. I'm out there to help as many people as I can.
yeah,
But
yeah, it's more satisfying. Um, uh, I'm not looking, like I said, being rich. Money was never my thing. Um, it just wasn't my thing. I'm trying to get rich overnight and all that kind of good. Other people want to do that. That's great, but
well, I'm
not
into
me.
living a comfortable lifestyle. At 66, I don't want to have to worry about money. But same time, I am about helping as many people as possible. Um,
Right. Yeah. You want to get what you need and then help people get the rest,
right.
so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
And
did
that's
you go ahead?
no, that's right.
I was gonna say, did you have anything else you wanted to show them this time?
Well, as far as this, there's all kinds of things we can show them. But on this particular, there was, as far as the subject of, how we do this and how many models you get and how easy it is to get in there and to use the apps and all that stuff. I think we pretty much covered what there is to that,
Okay.
because it's not rocket science. It really isn't that much to it. It's the
Yeah,
whole
and
idea was to simplify things. We
I'll
made
go
it.
in and I'll edit as necessary to, make the recording clean for that one specific purpose. If you wanted to show something else, I can chop it into a separate section. You know.
Yeah, that's what I can say. I do want to talk to him about double AI.
Okay, why don't we do that then?
Okay, let me go over to. Okay, this is the. We'll start here, and then we'll go into the double AI.
Okay.
This is where people start using the apps.
The app itself is called Double AI.
Yeah. Okay, so just let me know when you want to start.
Okay, you could start now.
Okay, this page that you're looking at here, this is the page that the user sees when he logs in. You see over here, it gives you your name and it tells you your details about your account, what your membership level is, your username, your email address, blah, blah, blah. It, it also tracks your IP address and that sort of thing. But this is your main system screen. And we put a little information on here, but down here, you just scroll down a little bit and we have these buttons that help you navigate because the whole page, I'll show you, it goes down for a way because we have a lot of apps. So we have these little buttons to help you navigate through all this stuff. Okay. And
Right.
using the apps is simple. We have little screenshots of each app, and you just click on the app that you want to use. These things will take you to different parts of the page, like the make money apps. You click there, it'll take you down to these money maker apps that are specifically designed to help you make money. Like the AI ebook writer. We have 3 different ebook writers. We have AMX, which makes apps. It makes AI apps for you without having to do any coding. It's just a form you fill out basically. You click on a few things, answer a few questions, boom, and it'll create an AI app. So these are all the
And
money makers. We have
I'm
the
looking at
ones
the
that we
YouTube bookmaker. That's one
Oh
that
yeah,
I
we made the YouTube Bookmaker. We got Quiz Makers. We have the YouTube Bookmaker Pro, and then we have these ones that create these special pages, like an event page or a bio page, and stuff like that. So these are all in this section right here. And when you're done doing it, and you want to go somewhere else, and you go back to the top, and you have the other ones. If you want to go to the non-AI apps, because we do have some software that doesn't use AI. You go down to the non-ARs, we have one that creates GIFs. We have one for annotating images and so forth. We have one for creating memes. We have one for creating PDFs. We have one for uh, that does things like count words and letters and stuff like that in text, which comes in real handy when you're trying to estimate stuff. And
yeah.
we have GR, so we have all this we do create periodically non-AI software because not everything has to be AI. So
Right.
we have a section for that. So we got, right now we got the 4 sections, and then we got this one right here, and the RAL. This is our education area. This is the resource and learning library. That's why we call it the RAL. This is where you get the YouTube book videos, the link books, the prompt library, the other resources, and we have all these books that we've written. I have like 27 more we have to add over the next month, on different, and it's all focused on teaching you AI, teaching you how to make money with AI, teaching you how to make money in general, how to do prompts, anything that's related to AI and making money with AI. That's what we're putting on the RAL page.
Okay.
So we have ones for a traffic hack shows you how to use free AI bucks to get traffic. We have a copywriter's playbook for newbies, for people who are not marketers like yourself that know that stuff already. Um, we have books for creating AI and prompts and how to create the UTBs. We have a whole bunch of books, and we got more and more and more coming. And that's all on this page, and you access
Okay.
that from the other page. Okay, now let's go back to here. And the app that I wanted to teach you on, what I'm going to do is show you. Okay, this is the double AI app. This is our most popular app. Everybody who becomes a member uses this AI, this app, and I will show you why. You click over
Okay.
here, and it'll open in another thing. Okay, and you got our little splash screen, no big deal. Okay, this is what this thing does. Double AI lets you use two AI models simultaneously from a single prompt. In other words, one prompt gets sent to both models at the same time, and you get the replies at the same time, and they're displayed to you side by side, just like these. You got over here we have Perplexity, over here we have OpenAI, and I could put a prompt down here, like write me 500 words about AI. Okay, well I'll do that in a minute. So it's already comes with two things, but you can change. The really cool thing is you can go over here, and all of these work the same way. So there's always 3 button menu over here. And you click on it, and it slides out this panel. And there's various things, a menu for copying your responses to clipboard and stuff like that. But when you're going and we have prompts that we give people this to start with. But the big thing is right here. It's called settings. And my picture of myself, can I move this thing? Let me move it over here. Okay. So since we have two models, we have two setting things. And like one is set to ChatGPT 4.0, and I want to set the second one over here. Let's see. And it lists all the AI, not alphabetical. It lists them in because if we did alphabetical, it'd have to be it would have to redisplay it every time there was a small change.
Okay.
It lists the apps in the order of the ones that have been modified and updated by the host company. Like when ChatGPT makes an update to GPT 5.1, which they recently just did, it ends up here in the top 3 because they just did the up. So the further you go
Okay.
down, they haven't been updated in a while. Okay, so you can go to any one of these things. I got OpenAI. Um, There's Gemini. Let's go to Gemini. We put Gemini over here. Okay, so now we have Gemini, and now we have OpenAI. Okay, this one's a Nano Banana, the Nano Banana one. I really want to
Okay.
let's go deep. Let's use DeepSeek because I want to put it. So we got a prompt. You can set your creativity for both of them. It defaults to 7. If you go too high, you end up with a lot of. You can end up with some crazy stuff. And
Yeah.
once you pick these, you go down here and you click on set values, and he says, okay, your preferences have been applied. So now your 2 models have been chosen. Okay. And you can hit reset and reset them to what they were originally set to. But once you've done that, you just close our little thing here. Okay, so now I've got GPT-4 on the left here, and I got DeepSeek over here. So if I go down here and say, write 500 words about AI, which is a really silly,
Yeah. It's vague.
simple prompt. Okay, this prompt gets applied to both these apps at the same time. So you click on the little paper send thing here,
Yeah.
and see it appears. Both of these appear, and they're thinking and doing their thing.
Yeah.
And when they get done, they're going to display everything. And the really neat thing is that you get both of these things side by side. So there's a variety of different things you use. For instance, we use the side by side, and you can see that you don't always get the same length. So this one's a little bit shorter than this one. So this guy might be 500, and this might be 480. Um,
Right.
when it comes to counting words, the AI models they don't get it exact because a token it's only one token. A letter is 2.5 of a token, for instance. I mean a word. So it's not a whole. So they don't
Right.
get completely accurate when they're doing words. At any rate, so you have 2 different approaches coming from 2 different things. Now, what this means is you can use both of these and put them in different places.
Right. For like
On
split testing.
blogs, you can use one for a blog, you can use one for a Substack or media, right? An article in media, stuff like that. You get 2 different outputs and you use it with 2 different places, and they're not going to be the same. They're basically the same. They're talking about the same subject, but how they do it is different. And so you can get double the work done from the same prompt. You don't have to go bouncing back and forth between different apps to use different models and get different outputs and all that. It's all going to come, it's going to do two at a time. So you can do two from this and then pick two more models. And, in no time, you can do 10 models and 10 different outputs for the same subject matter. And I mean, you bounce that stuff all over the place. Never have to worry about, Google slapping you for using the same thing on 5 different sites and that sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah,
There are other things you can use it for. You can compare. And when this app says John McCarthy did this and this one doesn't say that, but says somebody else did it, then one of these two is wrong.
yeah,
And so spotting hallucinations, errors in the AI is really, really, it's much easier when you read both of these things and you tell when one is off. It just doesn't, compared to the other one, it doesn't sound right. So you know right away that you really need to check that one because it may be there may be a hallucination in it, and it happens more often than people know. It really
yeah,
does, particularly depending on what you're doing. So it's really good for doing that sort of stuff. So you can get twice the output. You can do things like compare and find the hallucinations and all that. And you could also take the best of both worlds. You can take a paragraph from here that's really, really good, and then another paragraph from you take a paragraph from DeepSeek that's really, really good, and then you find another one open out, goes, okay, this other paragraph here, this is also really, really good. And you can put both of them together in your final product. So you take a paragraph from one and a paragraph from another, and a paragraph from one and a paragraph from another, end up with something completely unique and better. I do
yeah.
this all the time. I mean, I use this thing. This double AI is open on my machine 24 hours a day, pretty much, because I don't put anything into just one model. I take it when I test it. It's really great for testing prompts because if a prompt is good, if it works well on both models, and you can plug in half a dozen models and check the prompts. So we can check our prompts twice as fast as anybody else can. I mean, we can test 10 prompts 5 times faster to see that they work with those models, and we do that. We're constantly testing our prompts to make sure they're working on more than one model, not just
Okay.
ChatGPT, but DeepSeek and Perplexity and all these. We check them, and it's faster to do it when we do here because we look at both at the same time and go, okay, yeah, okay, this is good, that's good, this is good, okay, this one's not so good, so maybe we need to tweak the prompt, and we'll go down, we'll make a tweak to the prompt to the same 2 models, and do it again. And the second time around, we might get better from both sides.
Yeah,
And
and being a marketer,
that's how we optimize. That's how we optimize our prompts. And
I would
anybody else
use
that
this
does this has to.
for split testing sales pages,
Oh yeah, yeah.
things like that. Yeah.
I've split tested sales pages and landing copy and sales copy, just all kinds of stuff. I've tested on both sides, and like I said, it's really good for tweaking those prompts. Coming up with a prompt that's going to work really, really well for everybody. Pretty much all the models out there. Because the only other way you can do it is if you have, you have an app for Perplexity and you have an app for DeepSeek and you have an app and you bounce around between the apps and you keep putting, then it gets really tedious because if you have 5 apps that you're using to check a prompt across these 5 different apps on your system, you got to bounce around between the apps. And even if you do one little tweak to the prompt, you got to go to all 5 prompts and make the same tweak. It's kind of that slows you down. I mean,
Yeah.
it prompt checking. That was probably the biggest impetus for us to design this app to begin with. Was we wanted to be able to do twice as much, twice as fast, because we're little guys and we're trying to keep up with the big guys out there. So any little advantage that we can come up with, we do. And so that's why this is so popular with everybody on our site. Because to my knowledge, nobody has this. Nobody's doing this because they're all
No, I'm
different
not sure.
companies, and they're not going to let you access. You're not going to find Microsoft letting you access Google from their stuff. They're just
Yeah.
not going to do it. They want to do their stuff from their site. So if you want to do prompting for different models and all that stuff, you have to use different apps, or you have to use our apps. and it'll at the very least be able to do two at a time. And you could do two at a time and then check another two. And it's real fast to go through. You could take the top six to 10 models out there and check them, much, much faster with double AI.
Yeah.
So
I like,
I have people that have been on here since 2021, and they all tell me the same thing. It says it's worth $5 a month just to use double AI. Not to mention that 70 some other odd apps and 200 some odd models that we have. That alone for them was all it took. And some of them, that's the only thing to use. They don't even go into the other stuff. They just have their own prompts and stuff, and they use double AI and they pull it out and go do their thing.
yeah, I crack out lead magnets today at the speed of sound. So that's what I use AI for, write ebooks and scripts for
Yeah,
videos and
me
things like
too.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I was working on a new prompt one today that I was using double AI on that I'm going to be publishing in like 3 days. It's a prompt testing. It's a ebook about prompt testing your prompts to see if they're how to test your prompts to come out with really good output. Um,
okay.
and I did all that on the double AI for the last 3 4 days in between other things. Because it does keep the memory as long as I keep it open. I don't lose
Right.
memory until I close it.
So
Um,
it's session memory.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
it's a good little app.
I want to encourage people just to stop overthinking things and pay the $5 a month for what they pay $100 a month for. A lot of places are. I know people paying several $100s for it. I know one person who's at the top level of GPT, and she's paying, I think it's about $200 a month. But she's got
Yeah,
a team.
they have two plans at ChatGPT. They have the Pro plan, and then they have the what do they call
They
it?
could be enterprise or something like that.
Yeah, and one's $200 a month and one's $20 a month.
Yeah.
And the nomenclature changed, but yeah, it can get really, really, really expensive, and that's just for
Yeah.
one model.
Yeah.
Well, double AI does have a couple different. They've got their uh, video and picture ones, and then they got their regular GPT stuff. But it's still just their stuff. And if you want to use Perplexity, then you got to go over somewhere else. And if you want to use Cloud, you got to go somewhere else. It's aggravating. So we put them all in one, so you don't have to go
Sounds great.
bouncing around. If you want to use Cloud, you just go pick it out of the thing rather than go use the other app. Unless the only time it's different, like I said, and I admit that, is we purposely don't do the memory thing because that's what helps. One of the things that helps us keep it $5, keep it thing under $5, under $10. I don't think we'll ever get to 20 with this system. I think we'd have to have I mean, just I don't think we'd ever get to the point where we have to do the $20 thing the way we do things if we keep
And
doing
most
it the way
people
we're doing it.
today don't think anything of spending $5 for a cup of coffee, and that's nothing to most people, the average user. But we buy and spend based on what we want, basically. Yeah. This is a great deal. This is a really, really good deal.
Yeah, it's I don't see how anybody can beat it. Especially like I said, this one alone, and that's the one thing I get. I must have everybody tells me, and I said, yeah, man, I use double AI. If all you had was double AI, I pay you $5. Hell, I'd pay more than $5. I say, well, you don't have to. We only charge $5. Um, so they love that. And plus, we have apps that create unique things that nobody else have. Nobody else has double AI. Nobody else has the YouTube bookmaker because that creates an app for doing videos and visuals and text all in the same thing, and it's interactive. Creates an interactive app. Nobody's got that. We
Yeah.
can turn anything that comes off of YouTube or Vimeo or any of those outfits, and our app can turn it. Our app will create an app that turns that into an interactive visual experience for people that Google doesn't have. They don't do it that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And well, that's basically so they like to do advertising. Our YouTube books don't have any advertising. It wipes all that out. All you see is the video and
Yeah.
or the
Yeah.
accompanying text. But see, that's unique. Nobody else has that. So YouTube books itself, the fact that you can create those and they're completely unique is worth $5
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
because one of the things you can do is like, the people that buy PLR, okay, and they get these videos. Like I got 4 or 5 sites that I get, PLR videos from,
Right.
and I don't have to make any changes because with YouTube Books, the video book maker, I can put those videos in an app, an interactive app that people use to watch the videos. And I also can add um, text that goes along with the video that's in a separate screen that pops up when you ask for it, and it has everything that you have in a web page. You can have images in it and all kinds of formatting and all that kind of good stuff, and it can be as long as you want it to do. The other thing about the YouTube apps is they load in less than half a second. I don't care if you have 100 videos and 100 images and 100 pages of HTML inside the interactive app. It's going to load in half a second.
Yeah, I'm
Go
I'm
to the
I'm
way
using
web
the
apps
app.
work.
I'm using the app right now to create a product, and the product is I've created individual videos on 101 different videos on ways to make $1,000 a day online. Things like flipping domain names, stuff along that line. And
Yeah.
so it's 101 separate videos that I'm putting on YouTube, and then I'll put them in the app so that when I can sell the app to people for, I don't know, $5, $7, whatever, and they can pull all those videos individually from YouTube. So that's the way I'm using it right now. I'm working on
Yeah,
using it
but
right
see,
now.
that app you're pulling the videos from, and ours pulls them from too, but it does it in a different way. But yeah, it's basically the same thing. Um,
Yeah,
And like I said, ours is interactive. We got these slide out panels and a table of contents where you can bounce around to the videos, bounce around to the text, and all that kind of good stuff. But the point is,
yeah,
it's rather unique. Nobody else has that, and so you could take a PLR and not actually have to do anything to make it different. You don't even have
yeah,
to.
yeah,
You don't even have to change the title. It becomes a different. It's an app. It's a bundled app. So it's not like an ebook or something like. And it's not like going to YouTube. It makes it different without having to make any changes at all.
yeah,
That type of thing. My point is, that's another thing that you can't get from any of the other systems because they don't have it. Um, so that's also worth $5. So there's probably 20 or 30 apps in there that would be worth $5 to a lot of people to
oh
use
yeah,
because the fact that we have even one that's worth the $5 alone, it makes it kind of a no-brainer.
yeah, yeah.